Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Bonner here, Overtime Athletes. Another lesson for you sprinters out there and sprinting faster. One of the number one things that I absolutely love to do when I break down a new athlete is anytime I'm teaching speed in particular, because it's so mechanical and so many athletes have faulty movement patterns and their mechanics are so off that I really literally have to start from square one and build that athlete up. And even if you are a great sprinter as it is, you can always utilize certain tools to make your body as efficient as possible. The more efficient you are, the faster you're gonna be. And then which brings me straight into why I perform corrective stretching before the actual workout. Now, some people say, Chris, it's well documented in research and in studies that if you static stretch a particular muscle before you go perform speed or power movements, you're actually decreasing the power in the muscle. Well, I tell you, yes, that's 100% true. But what good is an athlete if those particular muscles are taking them out of proper form? I'd rather have an athlete have less power production and be mechanically 100% correct than to have an athlete who has that power and is creating faulty movement patterns. Does that make sense to you guys? So again, number one thing that I love to do is I love to break down an athlete exactly where they're at and build them and progress them through a process, especially when it comes to speed. All right, so one thing that I notice, and with a lot of particular athletes, is they typically have two different types of syndrome, and that's upper cross and lower cross. And having these two types of syndromes can essentially inhibit you from ever getting faster, right? So let me explain. I'm gonna go ahead and break down upper body today for you. So in our society, and a lot of you guys, most of you are student athletes, right? Meaning you go to school, you sit at a desk all day, you're probably texting with your girlfriend half the day. I don't know what else you do. You throw the football around, you throw the baseball around, whether you're shooting, everything's very forward, right? So in this society, what tends to create in that upper body is a very rounded thoracic spine, kind of kyphotic, if you will, and you get tight pec minor, tight internal rotators, you get a forward head, right? The neck becomes tight. And what this does is, as you take this on and all these muscles get tight, you essentially, when you go to sprint, a lot of guys mechanically are unsound because these muscles are pulling you in that direction. So for instance, if we're just breaking down the arm swing in a sprint, right? You wanna think of yourself when you're sprinting as a bow and arrow, right? So if I was an arrow and I shot it out of a bow, and that arrow was even slightly the littlest bit off as far as bent or curved, it's going to not only take your mark off, but also slow that arrow down. So as a sprinter, you want to be mechanically as efficient as possible for you to be able to perform that sprint and progress yourself from A to B as fast as you possibly can. So with you're an athlete and you have a tight pec minor and you're starting to sprint like this, right? Because this muscle's pulling you in this way. Now it's causing my torso to rotate a little bit as I sprint, which is making me less efficient moving down the track. All right, it's as simple as that. So now that you understand why we need to do it, let me go ahead and get into what you actually need to do. So there's basically three phases in the upper body and in that syndrome when you're bent over from texting all day and writing on the desk that you need to be able to get yourself out of. And that's what essentially is going to be some neck corrective exercises. You guys can perform flexion, rotation. Make sure you get your levator scapula. Now you guys can look these exercises up. I also have them in my program, Elite Speed Academy, that you guys could check out soon. Levator scapula is one that's very important. Also, make sure you're stretching out your pec minor, so you're really stretching that out, your internal rotators, and then last but not least, you're creating mobility in the thoracic spine so that you're not humped over when you're performing this, and also make sure that it's strong and stable enough so that it's supporting that as you propel yourself down the track. I hope that helps. That's upper body. I'll get into lower cross in the next video. Catch you next time. Yo, what's going on, fellas? Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in getting faster as an athlete, go ahead and click my advanced series right here where I provide you with free lessons to make you become faster. I'll see you inside.